Let the debate begin. I've got On3 coaching insider Jesse Simonton here with me, and his Big 12 power rankings are out. Let's talk about it today. Let's look at the list first. Here we go. Chris Kleiman at the top, Sonny Dykes, Lance Leipold, Mike Gundy, Gus Malzahn, Kalani Sitake, Matt Campbell, Dave Aranda, Joey McGuire. Then it gets real interesting. Here at 10, we got Steve Sarkisian, followed by Brent Venables, Dana Holgerson, Scott Satterfield, and Neil Brown rounds out the list. Before I get into the shockingly low rankings of Steve Sarkisian and Brent Venables, let's start at the top. What does Sonny Dykes have to do to get ranked number one by you, Jesse?
Well, Chris Kleiman beat him in the Big 12 championship. I know that, the Horned Frogs made it to the big game, the title game, but, what Chris Kleiman did at K-State last year, the fact that they had to rotate multiple quarterbacks, really only Deuce Vaughn was the only stud playmaker they had on offense. The fact that they were able to upset TCU in that Big 12 title game, the fact that Kleiman, has the previous track record winning all those national championships at North Dakota State, I think that just kind of tipped the scales in my favor for him over Sonny Dykes. Close. These were tough rankings. I know there's lots of debate, for the rest of the list as well, but that's why I had Kleiman over Sonny.
So you weight the head-to-head very, very heavily here.
Well, when the sample size is so small, the fact that Sonny just came to the Big 12, Kleiman's only been at Kansas State for a couple seasons. So in that regard, I did.
Matt Campbell was a red-hot name just 3-4 years ago when any job would come open. It kind of feels like some of that has worn off. Did his window of opportunity for a big-time job close, or is it closing?
Let's go closing. He's not going to get the $60 million or whatever the rumored, insane offer that the Detroit Lions allegedly threw his way 3 years ago. That's never going to come again. I do think he could still get a potentially Big Ten job, down the road. Perhaps a better job. Iowa State's really hard to win at, so that 9-win season is certainly nothing to scoff at that he had a couple years ago. I think they've regressed a little bit offensively. He seems to have addressed those moves, changed the offensive coordinator, made some other staff changes this offseason. Let's see what happens with the Cyclones in 2023. I still think highly of his ability as a program developer, a guy that, takes the 2 and 3 stars and kind of builds them over time into these future NFL players, but he does need kind of a big bounce back season this fall to kind of keep his name in the coaching circle.
Yeah, he's been really loyal to Iowa State, so I'd like to see him be able to make another run there. It was exciting when he had that team cooking. College football fans, do me a favor. Before we talk about the Steve Sarkisian and Brent Venables rankings, subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. We have all your college football news and latest recruiting developments. Hit the subscribe button to our On3 YouTube page. All right, let's talk about those two head coaches that are SEC bound next year in Steve Sarkisian and Brent Venables. Why did you rank them so low?
What have they done? I mean, Steve Sarkisian's coached at 3 awesome programs, Washington, USC, Texas. You can win big at all 3 of those schools, and he has one 9-win season in 9 years as a head coach. He's a phenomenal offensive coordinator, what he did at Alabama, what he did with the Atlanta Falcons, his ability to develop these quarterbacks, to turn them into Heisman Trophy winners, future NFL prospects, that is absolutely a cachet in his belt. But as a head coach, the results just haven't been there. Maybe that changes in 23. Texas is going to be the favorite to win the Big 12. He's recruited a great offensive line. They're loaded at skill talent. Obviously, he has Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning waiting in the wings. But it's kind of, let's put up or shut up time for Sark. He's had plenty of chances. Now he really needs to deliver those results.
So which one of these names, Sarkisian or Venables, do you think will survive longest in the SEC? I don't even say which one will win the SEC first. Let's just go with which one will survive the longest in the SEC.
I think the leash is going to be longer on Brent Venables. Oklahoma has been largely a recession-proof program. They've been really, really good for about 60 years outside of a brief period in the 90s. Bob Stoops had a rough first year. He went 7-5 and then rattled off, 20 years of success Obviously, Venables had even more struggles in year one. The defense was a complete sieve. They couldn't tackle, they couldn't stop anybody. He has brought in a bunch of transfers. His ability to recruit is without question. They signed, a fringe top 5 recruiting class. So I think he's going to get more rope there. I think he's going to turn it around. He certainly, rivaled probably Mario Cristobal for the rougher face, who had a worse face plan at a blue blood program in year one. But I think he's going to bounce back, because I think there's just, frankly, more pressure on Sark. The fact that Sark has these 2 5-star quarterbacks, if you can't win with Quinn, if Arch doesn't get it done, that's gonna look badly on Sarkisian. So I could see them being more pressure there.
All right, Jesse, which coach on this list, or which coaches on this list, head into the 2023 season on the hot seat?
Well, Neil Brown, I mean, he headlines, I think, most hot seat lists going into the fall. And frankly, I've appreciated his candor because, unlike some coaches, he's admitted, I have to win. I know the pressure's on. They fired the AD last November. A lot of folks thought that was going to be the first of 2 dominoes, with Brown being fired as well. He has a nice $20 million buyout, which I think saved him because West Virginia wasn't willing to pay that money. But the pressure's on. He needs to at least show some modicum of growth and results there. That's a program that's been hemorrhaged by the transfer portal. He has tried to bring in some nice pieces. He was able to keep and convince their star running back to stick around this fall. So if they can get to a bowl game, I think he enters next season with some potential to see 2024. But short of that, I think West Virginia's going to be looking for a new coach.
All right, there you have it, Jesse's Big 12 coaches power rankings. Leave a comment in the section below if you agree, if you disagree. Who do you think's on the hot seat? Let us know. Jesse, thanks for stopping in on Coach's Corner.
Always trying to keep it hot here for you, Josh.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. And remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.